This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday show with your host, Hakeem L, here on Hindsight Radio. The information station changing the nation. Man, I hope everybody had a good weekend, good week since the last time I got on the air. Myself, I'm having an awesome week and a couple of bumps in the road, but nothing I couldn't handle. So I wish everybody peace, prosperity, wealth, good health. What are we talking about tonight? I know I got notice of appearance update. I just want to do a little something to update the notice of appearance to make your filings a lot stronger than what they are. You know, I'm always improving on what I do. Always looking for a way to close up holes. Going back to previous information and taking a look at it. You don't make progress until you go back and look at what you did before and make sure there was something you didn't miss. So that's what I do. So we'll talk about that. Later on, around the 8 o'clock hour, I'll have Gilbert back on. He's going to update everybody on the mortgage situation. It is pretty bad. What the banks are doing, despite the fact that people are losing their jobs. So he's going to talk about that later on once I get him right in the 8 o'clock hour. But before I do that, you know, I always have to do my teaching, my preaching, whatever you want to call it, minister. And because I was on the phone with someone handling a transaction, and I played that clip. I just played it, but it was timely. So that was divine intervention there. We are dealing with that right now, where the government is infringing on your freedoms. Now these not the state, not the governor, the little towns are trying to enter ordinances to make you wear a mask. We all know that's a bunch of BS because the Constitution protects you from being forced to do anything like that. You know, and the science shows that wearing a face mask is the stupidest thing. You know, work. It's not protecting you. If it doesn't have a seal to seal out, you know, airborne pathogens, and a virus is not an airborne pathogen. You know, you have to come in, you know, this current virus, you got to come in direct contact with droplets of either some type of bodily fluid. You got to come in contact with it. Basically, it's got to either, you know, come in contact with it in your hand. It's still on your hand. You touch your face, and boom, you get it. You know, if you're kissing somebody talks, saliva comes out of their mouth and travels 6 feet and hits you. That's the whole social distancing thing. But, you know, people talking, they don't travel 6 feet. Okay? You know, it's a move to see how far they can push you. It's a move to gain further control. They got to control. Now, what was interesting about what he was saying is, when the Revolutionary War, it was very few people who supported it. The large majority did not support it, and there was another majority that was indifferent to the revolution. And it's like that now. The large majority of people, they don't have to get the cops to make you wear a mask or talk to you about a mask. It's people in public. You're offending others when you don't wear a mask. You know, you can hurt others by not wearing a mask. You know, they're getting the people to police each other. And these people are ignorant, bona fide stupid, because they know nothing about epigenetics or anything biological. How these things really work. A mask that is not properly sealed will not protect you from anything. As a matter of fact, the longer you wear it, it will harm you. You will breathe in your own carbon monoxide, and all of the stuff germs you're supposed to get out of you will be stuck on that mask, and you're breathing it all back in. Because these people are just walking around like fools wearing it everywhere. They're outside, they're in their car, just walking like, why are you wearing a mask in your own car? It's become a fad. And people are so worried about looking different. See, not wearing a mask is almost like looking different in some places. People blindly follow the lead of people just because they got a title of leadership. And it's so bad that even the churches are starting to act in that manner. You can't come here without a mask. Can't come to church without a mask. These are the same people that say God can heal all. Some of these people claim to be healers. I know several people, their churches are making them wear masks. They're like, wait a minute, I thought God is, protects all. Even where God bigger than a virus. See, they're going against their own teachings when they are talking like that. They are contradicting themselves. They don't believe in God. They believe in man and what he says in the science. Furthermore, they're afraid of death. But yet, if you a good Christian, a good religious person, you believe in you're going to heaven. You got a better place to go. What are you worried about death for? Everybody say they believe in God until death come a-knocking. They're confronted with the choice of living or dying. Almost everybody going to want to live and fight to live. Afraid of death. They say he gone, but when somebody dies, they going on to the sweet by and by, to a better place. The castle in the sky. The streets laid in gold. Contradictory. People just talking, saying cliches that they've heard, from the time they were raised into the church. And I'm sitting back watching this, and I'm saying, shaking my head, like, yo, they don't let every business open pretty much normally, except for the church. And most of these pastors, preachers, whatever, are sitting back taking it without a fight. The reason why, some of y'all should already know why they can't say anything. 501c3, they can't. They can't fight that. Or they lose tax-exempt status, and it'll retroactive back to when they first started that religious organization. I'm not going to call them a church, because if you set up I did a show on it, you set up a 501c3, you convert your church into a religious organization. It is no longer looked at as a church, because these people don't read anything. They just listen to hearsay. Oh, I got to get my taxes. I got to make sure. They don't even see that they're getting permission from man to be tax exempt. God had made you tax exempt from the day you was born. It's you by contract become taxable. Yeah, some of these contracts, they tricked us. Did they really trick us? Did they? No. They gave us a piece of paper. We listened to what someone else said, how to fill it out, instead of reading the instructions for ourselves. Much like what we do with our own religious ideas. We go to church, we hear people saying different things about what you required to do, what God's will is. Everybody telling you what God's will is, except for you knowing what God's will is for yourself. And we take that and we run with it and we say, this is it. Large majority of the planet is living a life that's off the mark of true connection with the God inside of them. This is why we have issues. Worshiping false gods, like Reverend Knight. You worshiping your pastor's God, your mama's God. Because everybody's got a different concept of God. And basically, when people are teaching about God, most people are trying to get you to buy into their concept of God. That's the reality of it. most people are not teaching, well, if you really want to know God, go look in the mirror. If you really want to know. See, that shocks, and that sometimes it offends people's traditional belief and ideals of what religion and our God is all about when you say something like that. Don't ask me, go look in the mirror. Go find God within you. There's so many scriptures that say that. This is why they split the Bible up and they took stuff like the Gnostic Bible and different scriptures out, because those scriptures directly say, the ones they took out, where you can find God, where he really resides, where the real power is. You see? See, just like the government organizations of today, everyone is trying to strip you of your true power, of who you really are, and giving you a false image of God. An image doesn't necessarily have to be an idol. It could be a false perception or false indoctrination of what God really is. And no one can define who God really is for you but you. No one. No one. No one has your true answer to who you are and what your destiny is, or what your calling is, as church folks would use, is you. You just got to merely look inside and ask for the truth, and the truth will come out. I told y'all about my experience years ago. That's why no one can ever walk up to me and tell me, well, God told me to tell you. And I'll tell them straight up, well, I'm glad he's talking to you and not to me. You know, I wait on him to come and tell me what he told you. That's how I go do that. Now, that's not to say people come and do prophecies, you know, hey, this is what I see coming for you. Those I'll accept, because why? They align up with already what I've been already dealing with, or what I've already been given the visions of. So someone come up and do a little prophecy or something like that, it lines up with what I'm already inside me. But if somebody's coming at you with something that's not lining up with what you already got inside you, you got to be cautious. You know, let me do a little bit of you know, I was reading some scriptures, and it's all about, some of these scriptures are about, well, every one of them is about what you should be doing. There's a scripture, Jeremiah 17:5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departeth from the Lord. So if you trust in men for your spiritual guidance, and this is all you trust, then you're heading off into destruction. Yes, you want to listen and get, you know, people who are in a position of leadership and inside of any religious organization are just signposts. This points you back to your true divinity. That is the original way it's supposed to work. But, you know, man got greedy for power and attention and control. They started to transform the message. And slowly but surely, over thousands of years, robbed man and woman of what the truth is with their connection to themselves and God. Psalms 118:8, it is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in man. Micah 7:5, these are just some of the scriptures. Trust ye not in a friend, but ye not confident in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. It says, trust men or friends, people who call themselves friends. Yeah, you want to hear what they have to say, but remember, everything people are saying is coming from their own perspective and experience on life. You got to go and take what they say. When it says not, don't trust, don't be always suspicious of people, but take what they say, investigate, and vet it. That's what you do. So you can understand for yourself. So, couple of them. Was it 741? All right, yeah. Right now, people are enforcing these bogus rules on their own. It's on remote control everywhere you look. Like I said, the church is leading the charge for that. They haven't spoken up against any of these governors about getting their churches open, for the most part. You hear something here and there, but for the most part, and one of the reasons they don't know how, because they don't know the Constitution and different rules. I heard one prophet, I listened to a recording on YouTube who actually brought up the Constitution. Constitution says this, so I know he read it, but he was a foreigner in this land. He naturalized in, and he knew it. And we have people from here that don't know it. The problem with Americans, where we are, is a lot of our people have this sense of arrogance of thinking they know everything, and they know nothing. Most of their information that they believe in and trust in is all a lie. History books, the mainstream media are liars. That's why it's important that you get an overstanding on your own, on all subjects. This is not the time to play, because you're going to need that. Because they're going to push this mask, and then next thing you know, vaccinations, it's going to keep going from there. Every liberty they take away from you is one step further into taking all of them away from you. And next thing you know, we're already in a police state. See, they had the police, knocking people over the heads for years. Now, the big boys is going to eventually take that over. And guess what? Most people, when I was watching a feed in South Carolina, they were talking about they were going to hold a town hall meeting about making masks mandatory. And a lot of people were saying no, and then other people say, won't y'all just wear the mask? See, it's those type of people. See, those people are dangerous to liberty. They're too lazy to study. They're too lazy to even push back, but they want you to just lay down and give up your freedoms. See, it's those types of people that you have to be on guard from. Those are the snitches. They look at it as a minor thing. Oh, the government making you wear masks, because they're in fear of the virus. And the virus, time and time again, has proven itself to be impotent. 1%, not even a 2% death rate. But yet, even with all of those numbers, they ignore the facts, and still, I'm putting on my mask just in case. And what's funny about that, what's ironic about that, a lot of people treat their spiritual life like that. I'm going to go to church just in case. I don't know about all this, but I'm going to go to church. Sitting there every Sunday. Now you can't go sit inside the church. You got to do it through Zoom. Just going through the motions, just in case. Only time they pick up a Bible is when they come to church. But yet, those are the same people that try to tell you living in sin. Right. All right, let's get into this notice of appearance update. It's going to be reason why I want to update is because new information, new developments, and we need to be addressing ourselves accordingly. Like right now, I'm working on helping someone with a child support issue, right? And this case is about they want to get the arrears and they want to get them in arrears, and they want to modify the order to, take more money from him. Now, in these documents, the documents are addressing him as the all cap, the in legis, right? So how do I fix that? How do I rebut that? So how I introduce him is response and objection to suit, modification of support order, and motion to confirm support of arrearages. As is full disclosure. I'm not a lawyer, an attorney. I gotta say that. This is just information I read out of a legal book, and I'm just sharing it with you. If you do your own research. You want to hire an attorney, possibly lose, most likely, you can do that. All right. It says, comes down Charles Adams Green, upper and lower. Got to be upper and lower. Okay? An American national but not a citizen of the United States files an answer to the above mentioned suit in motion. That's how you got to answer these things. Now, when they address this man in his all caps name, I have to adjust it and make it show, hey, the court is saying, this is what the court is saying here. The court is saying they have jurisdiction. This court has jurisdiction, and I have to say they don't have jurisdiction. So to that, I would say denied. This court lacks jurisdiction over his name, upper and lower. You see what I'm saying? Not the all caps, the way they're addressing him. Everywhere they're making an accusation, I'm saying denied. This court lacks jurisdiction. And then when they're addressing him, I say denied. First, middle, last, upper and lower is the proper name, not first, middle, last, all caps. Now, let me be clear. Because I've seen people actually, I was coaching somebody, and I said, this is how you do it. They went in the courtroom and said, my name is, they said their name, upper and lower. They said that. When I say upper and lower, that's a description of how it's supposed to look. The first letter of each name used is to be capitalized. That's what I'm saying. I got to clear that up, okay? So when I say not first, middle, last, all caps, I'm describing how you're supposed to write it, okay? Let's be clear, okay? Really, they actually went in there and said that. Yeah, upper and lower. Then, and wrote it on their paperwork like that. This is what comes when you solely rely on me to tell you everything, and you're taking every word and you're trying to use every word in your paperwork. No, some of these words are descriptions. Okay, we have to use our common sense in these situations. Okay, so in their filing against him, they said his name, first, middle, last, all caps. This is the description again, is the father of the children. I got to rebut that. So to that specific one, I say denied. First, middle, last, description, upper and lower is my proper name, not first, middle, last, all caps. A nobody. This court lacks jurisdiction over first, middle, last, upper, and lower. Description again, okay? I'm shutting it down. I have to deny that whole statement because you are addressing me improperly. You're addressing me as a corporation. You're addressing me as an illegal. It's a fiction. I am not a fiction. And I must make that clear. Okay? All right. Now, they want to order to get these arrears, and so I say deny. Basically, I don't even have to read the whole thing. Basically, I'm denying everything and saying the court lacks jurisdiction over the proper name, which is the first, middle, last, upper and lower, meaning first letter of each name is capitalized. There's no need for me to argue about their little things. I'm listening, you guys, like you're not addressing me properly, so we can't move forward until you address me properly. And when I said at the beginning comes down and I mentioned the name, that's your notice of appearance, and that's how you're supposed to address yourself in all proceedings in a court. You got to let them know who you are. You can't go in and type in the name exactly how they have it. You got to distinguish. Wait a minute, this is not proper. Now, because this case is kind of in its final stages, normally I would throw in a motion to dismiss or a motion to correct case caption, which we know they're not going to correct the case caption because the case caption is in all caps. And that's where they needed to stay in order to proceed. Once it changes from that position, they no longer have jurisdiction because that is not the name. You see? In all of these child support or any other case, they are administering an estate, and they're tagging it for money. Now, they get you to pay. If you're paying child support, you're paying monthly on child support, but they're tagging that account. Every month, they're drawing out money for that, and they splitting it with themselves, with the state. That's why they love child support so much. It's just a gravy train. They don't care about kids, children being fed and getting support from their fathers or their mothers. They don't care one bit about that. But for years, they never really enforced child support until Congress, who has jurisdiction over all U.S. citizens, created these new statutory laws to enforce child support under the 666 statute. We all know what that is. That represents a man number, 666. Now, a lot of people say that's the devil's number, represents a man, this and that, but that 666 goes deeper than that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Gilbert. Let me know he's on. Sorry, I was reading the email. All right, 5 minutes. There it is. Write that down. You'll go back and listen. And take notes. Everything, when they have you addressed as the all caps, there's no jurisdiction. And you must make that clear. Always stick with jurisdiction. I always tell y'all, it's all about jurisdiction. You don't have to keep arguing all of this stuff. Because once you start arguing other things, they're going to skip all of that jurisdiction and move forward. Listen, no jurisdiction here. What are you talking about? No jurisdiction. No jurisdiction. That's not my name. You guys got that name caption wrong. We need to correct that before we can move forward, which they never will do. Because the order is written in that all caps. And remember what I told you, there's 52 letters in the alphabet. 26 lower and 26 upper. All right? So if it's not in that proper form, that is not you. We have been playing that, our minds have been disillusioned to the truth for so long, we just automatically follow. That's me. No, it's not. All right? So we got 4 minutes. I'm going to take a small break, and then I'm going to bring Gilbert in, and we're going to talk about these mortgage shenanigans the banks are playing on people. So some of you might have, had to get a forbearance because of, hardship that fell upon you. He's going to talk about the pitfalls that you need to be looking out for before you accept these contracts, because they're trying to play y'all. All right? All right. Let's see. I will be right back.
I'm out.
All right, I'm back. It's time for Gilbert to get on. Let me find his number. If you got questions, go ahead and press the 1 button. When I get done with Gilbert, we'll take those calls. If you got questions for Gilbert, press 1. He's a very good guy. If you're in foreclosure or having troubles with your bank, he knows how to talk to these banks to get stuff done. I have personally used him, and he has saved me a lot of grief, okay? And mostly everybody that go to him have the same sentiment. The only people that have trouble with him are the people who got bad intentions. They really are looking for a free handout. That's the problem, trying to do all of that. I'm discharging my house and all of that craziness. And he don't deal with that stuff. Just want to let y'all know, so don't get on there asking, oh, what about this? Don't ask. He deals in getting you back in good, payment schedules with your bank so that you don't lose your house. Everyone I know who tried to win their house through these fancy processes ended up on the street, okay? Y'all can follow those YouTube videos all you want, but you're going to end up homeless. And I can tell you right now, this is not the time to be homeless, okay? All right, let's bring Gilbert in. Gilbert, what's up, man? What's going on?
How you doing?
Good.
Trying to
get a while
these loans.
I had you on. Yeah.
Trying to get all these closed, man. Trying to get verification of employment on my existing loans. That's another headache. Just even trying to get a loan in. There's people. We have. It's crazy. Just the whole market is just crazy, and it's not filtering down to any of the clients. Whatever they're telling you, it's not even true, because I deal with them directly and I call them directly.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting a loan.
So you're saying all of this stuff about the forbearances and the stimulus, the government helping you out, help you keep your house, is all a bunch of, a show?
It's all a bunch of lies, yeah. And I'll give you an example. What happened is I showed you that mortgage statement where they told my client, he's a Spanish speaker, he called him in March, and I just sent you the copy of the mortgage, and they said, I don't have to pay. I go, no, you don't have to pay now. You have to pay 3 to 6 months. So he was already late, 30. Now he's like 120. And then I showed you the statement. He wasn't late. It didn't show it yet, but now he's $4,500 back. So he calls today and picks up the phone because I go, look, modify it. He goes, well, we can give you another 3 months. I go, look at your mortgage statement. What are you saying they're going to give you another 3 months? So they're just telling these people what they want to hear. They're not telling them that in 6 months you got to come up with all that money. He hasn't even worked. He's barely going to get a job, and he hasn't even worked. So now he's going to be $9,000 behind on a house with a lot of equity. So the forbearance, not a forbearance, not a forbearance. They should say defer repayment plan due in 6 months. It's not a forbearance, what they're telling people.
Right, which is a lot of people think they got a forbearance. They go through the paperwork. Next, 6 months down the line, they got a nightmare they're dealing with and possible foreclosure.
Right.
It sounds like they're purposely trying to steal people's houses.
It's just they tell people one thing, and then I get on the phone, and they tell me something else. I mean, I've had them tell me we're not offering an actual forbearance is put it at the back end of the loan or modify the payments, but more than likely they should put it at the back end of the loan. I've been doing this a long time where if they were 6 months back, okay, you're back to work, we'll put that at the end of the loan. And that's what they do. But this is not true. You even know, talking with your ex, what they did to her too. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the issue. They're lying. They're lying to it.
Mm-hmm.
Lying to people. And I show you, I send you stuff and I show you the statement, and this guy was still listening to them. I go, look, you see that you're back. You see how far back you are, and you're already, I was trying to refinance him. So it doesn't work. It's not a true forbearance, and that's what they're not, explaining to anybody. Even with loans, it's still hard to get people that are current. I'm still having a hard time just to get a verification of employment. If they see COVID on your pay stub, we're fighting, we're pulling hair out just to get these loans approved, even with current people, because the investors, Wall Street, still all the stuff. And I'll give you an example because we've talked already. 620 FICO is minimum for a refinance, no cash out. Well, they increased it to 640. Okay, now if you want to cash out, it's a 660 FICO to cash out. If it's rental property, you're pretty much screwed. You need 6 months reserves, and if you don't put the rental income on your tax returns, you're not going to get approved. You have to qualify on your own. They just make up their own rules, and everything you see on TV, we're not doing foreclosures. I send you pictures of houses going into foreclosure still.
Right.
And I
got somebody who really believes that they stopped all foreclosures, and I had to explain to them, no, they haven't stopped it. The court is just not doing hearings right now, but the foreclosures is moving forward, okay?
Right.
So as soon as they open up those courts where you can, do the hearings, they're going to move forward and shut down a lot of these foreclosures. And with them being backed up, they're going to just, rubber stamp every foreclosure and keep it moving,
Yeah, that's what's going to happen, and it's starting to open up too. So, but the forbearance, that's proof that plan isn't out yet. It is coming out, but they say it on TV that it's out, where the actual forbearance where you put it at the back end, but it's not. The banks aren't offering it. I just talked to one today, and they go, "We're not offering it. We're just doing the deferment." But why do you say forbearance? You should be a repayment deferment, not a forbearance, because people say I don't have to pay, and that's the impression that they're getting, and it's not true. They say it's supposed to put the forbearance at the back end 12 months now, but the banks still control everything. It's still not happening. It's still not happening. Now that people up, now's the time to start sending stuff in again. I told this guy I can buy it in time, but they gave him 3 more months. I go, you have to come up with all this money. Do you understand? And when I called the bank, he goes, oh, yeah, he was due for March. I go, well, how can you offer this deferment and you're supposed to be current? He was already 30 days late. It's March, April, May, June. We're 90 days late now. And you're telling him none of it is true. None of it is true.
Wow.
So even with dealing with current people trying to get the loans done, they see COVID on there. We're fighting just because Wall Street still buys it. They still control it. It's still based on the stock market. The rates are low, but there's a lot of extra stuff putting on everything right now.
Right. Man, so basically what can people do?
You have to modify it.
In trouble.
Yeah, you have to modify it, and that's pretty much what you're going to have to do. And you're going to see that because they haven't really kicked in yet. They haven't really started yet, but it's all coming out now. Because 30% of the mortgages were late in March.
Mm-hmm.
So
modifying. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to modify it.
Start them over.
Until that plan comes out. But they're screwed already, and the people don't know it. The people don't know it.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, just to add on, see, we had COVID come out, and we didn't really see the results of, the effects of the COVID, the lockdown. It's starting to affect now.
Right.
I'm starting to see the real effects come to life. Like, I got several calls where people now they're being laid off or fired.
Yep. So now's
You see
the
what I'm
time.
saying?
Now's the time to defer it, but that deferment is just a Band-Aid. So if they're getting laid off now in June, so June, July, August means September 1st, you got to come up with all that money plus September's, and it's not a true deferment. So you might and there's certain guidelines with FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mae that they stipulate, but that's all going to change. It's going to happen, and I've seen it already happen. There's certain guidelines, and that is going to change now again. And you're going to see that changing. So, it's just all the stuff they tell you. It's just none of it is true. So they say one thing and then do another, and then none of it is true. I deal with them, and the people didn't believe me. This guy didn't believe me because I refinanced him last year. And I go, look, oh, no, you were right. I go, see, I told you. I told you exactly what was going to happen. So, that's one of the issues. You just have to, and I tell people the truth. They may not like to hear it, but I tell them the truth. But it's not a forbearance. It's just a repayment plan due in 3 to 6 months. Hopefully that 12 months they should come out and put it at the back end of the loan, but they're not offering it yet. And even with the loans, like I said, just trying to get a verification of employment is a pain in the ass. And there is a lender that will, like if you're on that plan and you're refinancing, they will refinance you. That was as of 5 o'clock today. But you have to bring everything current at escrow. There's only one that's doing that right now. So what does that tell you? None of it is still, they're still not, still not offering everything. It's all BS. All of it is still BS.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I already know the answer to this, but I want you to say it because you are a mortgage guy. You're in there. This is what you do. Someone said people should start building their cases and sue the banks first and do qualified written requests. What do you say to that?
That what? I'm sorry?
They said do a QWA or a QWR, qualified written request. That's one of the Fair Debt Collection Practices rules where you question the debt and then sue the banks first. What do you say to that?
Doesn't work.
I would have said the same thing, but I just wanted you to say it. Because here's the problem with the qualified written request. They could send, they don't really respond to that accurately, and they'll send you that. And I did that before. I did that, qualified QWR. And suing the bank, they'll drag it out and then take you to court and sue you and take your house.
Exactly. It doesn't work. Everybody,
average suit takes 2 years, just to get to the point of a trial. If they do a flurry of motions against you. Here's the thing. People are still under this illusion like they're going to win these houses. It is a question of national security if they give one person a house under those types of conditions. Now, you have won people houses. Like when people was able to get their houses, what conditions was it that they got it?
Well, that was back in the day on subprime loans only. That was back in the day, and I've sent you proof of that, and people have showed
How
proof.
long ago was that? Like when you say subprime days, like 2008?
That was 10 years ago. Yeah, 2010 was rock bottom. So that was 10 years ago. But loans are government-backed. You're not going to win. They're Fannie Mae, MAC, VA, and FHA. None of those you're ever going to win. And I have proof of the ones. I wrote out 4 complete mortgages proving the note because back then everything was so crazy in the seconds we wrote off. But you're not going to win that on government-backed loans. And there was one client of mine that we sold her house. It was in her dad's name up in Conyers, Georgia. And the realtor called and told me there was a guy that was he kept taking it to court. But what happened is he didn't file on the second. It got sold to this one investor that I've been dealing with, and they foreclosed on everybody's house. She goes, oh, he's a good, negotiator. He knows how to go to court. I go, okay. Calls me the next month. I go, what happened to that deal? Oh, the second foreclosed and paid off the first. So they're doing that now, too, and they end up losing the house. He just didn't want to pay. for 10 years he kept filing paperwork, which, that's what I do. But I'm here to fix a loan, not do a Band-Aid. But they end up foreclosing. The seconds right now, because there's equity, are foreclosing and paying off the first. So if you're late on the second, on the first, they'll foreclose and pay it off. So, I deal with all of it. I deal with bankruptcies. I just typed up my friend, and even though it didn't show up on her credit report, it's still a debt that's owed. I just finished hers, and I've done the true credit cleanups. People think they can pay some company, and I had a lady, her husband did that, and it all showed back up. The minute you run a mortgage credit report, it all shows back up, no matter what. That may not be on your credit report.
For people to understand. You said a mortgage credit report.
Right.
So there's different types of credit reports.
Exactly. The mortgage is more strict. I had my friend that I just did that had 2 houses back in the day 10 years ago with 4 loans, the 80-20 combos that people did. She owed $620,000 in with her ex-husband with charge-offs on the deficiency balances and collection account. So I just said, go file on everything. It was a pain in the butt, but we did it. But and they were all subprime loans, but they sold them for in half, and we didn't even know where half the stuff, half the loans went. But when I ran her credit report 2 years ago, she was a good FICO, over 700. The minute I ran her credit report, all those creditors came back. They weren't on the credit report because it was so old after 7 years. They were in judgment, but they all showed up on her credit. They all showed up on her on bills. It took me literally a day just to get all the creditors in line for her, put them in line, and then another day to put them on a list, and then another day to put it on the paperwork for her. So it doesn't matter. They're gonna show up. People say it's not on your credit. That's fine. Do a mortgage credit report, and it will show up. I know somebody paying $200 a month for a year, and it didn't work. And I go, mortgage credit reports are more. It's all gonna come back.
So you not only do the mortgages, you do the credit too. You can help them get that straight.
The right way, right way, not
the right
way. Not paying these companies all. Because I had a friend who did that for 6 months and paid them like $180, and then had her credit report ran. I ran it, and she ended up showing up. I go, I told you it's going to show up. It doesn't matter if it's on there. You still owe it. It's still owed. If they didn't file that judgment after 10 years, because you can go 30 years if you keep refiling a judgment, but they ran the social and it showed up. I go, I told you it was going to show up.
All right. So, it's 8:18. Maybe some people got some questions for you. So wait a minute, before I get to the question. So right now, the best option for people to do right now is to modify. Is that correct?
Right now, yes. Because they're not going to have the money to bring it current to 6 months.
Right. All right. So what if, what if someone is in a situation where they want to, what do you call that? Refinance it, the home?
Yeah.
Not a modification. So say if they're trying to redo it and, a house into their name, they might have their name on a house and some, 2 people on it, they want to get one off and they want to redo the loan in one name only. What's the best option in that case? Because some people are dealing with that. People are dealing with divorces and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to refinance. You have to refinance.
Refinance, that's the word.
Yeah. If there's 2 people on the loan and they're current and you want to take them off, you have to refinance it. But if you're late, you can't do nothing. That's
right.
That's the problem. So that's the only people do the grant deed. It doesn't matter. It's still secured on the loan. They still secured it on the loan.
I'm glad you brought that up. So there's it's not new, but it's come up enough time for me to ask you. People who may be in foreclosure and they're thinking about putting the house in a trust to protect the house. Is that possible? How does that work?
It only delays it 30 days. It doesn't matter. A trust doesn't do anything. Right. The trust is still, say it's in your name and you put it in a trust, who's the legal owner? All it does is buy 30 days. That's that one client you sent me last year where they tried to do that. And I talked to the guy and I go, because she had that money owed to her, but I go, it only delays it 30 days. It's just not going to do anything. It's still who's the legal owner. And it doesn't matter. Anything that goes into foreclosure wipes everything out except the first anyway. So it's all off the title, so it doesn't matter. You can have a 10,000 trust and 10,000 recordings. It's going to be, once it goes into foreclosure, it's done.
Okay. So that doesn't work either, because that's what's floating around. People are actually teaching people that. Oh, put it in a trust, and that they can't get it. I've known people have done. I've known a few people, a handful of people that have done that, and it delayed it. They still lost their house, and they're on the street right now. Or they may not be on the street, but they're not in that house. And I know one in particular ended up with some charges.
Yep.
You know, in the case for doing that. It's like some type of charge with altering a deed or something like that. They consider it a form of fraud when you do that. Especially when it's in. See, what people don't understand, when something is already in a court case, in a legal proceeding, and then you go and try to alter those documents that are being used as evidence to support their claim, that's altering evidence before the court. So that's why it becomes a criminal issue when you do that. So, I'm trying to cover every little scheme I've heard. And what's amazing, no matter how many times I tell them it don't work, they still go and try it. They still push the envelope. And then they come back, well, the judge is corrupt. The system is corrupt.
Well, we already know that.
You know, that's the way they come at you. Well, I can tell you it's corrupt, and I've told you that's not going to work anyway because it's corrupt. You know, why waste your time? You know, you don't want to mess with where you got to rest your head.
Nope.
Playing these games. You got to listen. Listen, rent is a lot more expensive than a mortgage. And some people have been in these houses for years where the mortgage payment is extremely low. Now, right now, the market is sitting at the top as far as, you know, selling houses and buying houses. The prices are at the top. But that's not going to last pretty much longer. That's, you know, we are going to have a housing collapse eventually. You know, because they just did an article where mortgage of defaults up by 21%, or it's its largest since the last mortgage crisis we had. So right now is the beginning stages of the collapse of the housing market. So there's people buying, you know, a lot of people are moving from up north because of COVID and coming south, and they're, you know, some of them are cashing out 401ks and buying houses cash, and or paying, you know, putting large down payments to get into their house. So that's why the market looks good right now, but that's temporary. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and they're not showing late yet until you're going to see a lot of them 6 months now. Nothing is really late because they haven't reported it, but I was just reading online that they went 30% of them were late in March, but they deferred it. Of the mortgages. Now it's even worse, you know. But I mean, I sent you that statement again, $4,500 on a $900, like $1,000 payment. So March, April, May, June, that's 4 months. That's exactly what he was behind. And they offered him 3 more. And I go, why are you offering? I called them and I ended up cussing them out in Spanish, and I was talking all kinds of shit to them. And I go, this is not what you're explaining to people. Why do you tell him this? And you know, he doesn't know. But I helped out the whole family and a lot of people in that city, and they know that I'm going to tell them the truth. And he goes, no, you were right. I go, so I told you. I go just modify
right.
payment, so that's what we're doing right now. He's sending me the paperwork now.
No matter how many times you tell me these schemes are not going to work, they all come. What about this scheme? What about that scheme? Listen, don't come to me with no more schemes. I don't even want to talk about it. We got a couple of people with their hands up. Let me see what they want to know. Hold on. 504-669.
What was it? 504-669.
Yes.
All right, yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, man. How you doing? Hakeem?
Yes.
Yes, man. Hey, I was calling you, man, to, thank you, man. That video I watched, that video, how you say that, the trust and the 1041.
Okay, the trust.
I got a little bit clear picture, what you was doing and everything. And all that stuff.
Hold on a second, bro. Hold on. Slow down. Do you have a question for Gilbert right now?
Oh, no, man. But no.
Okay, so once you just do me a favor, stand by. I'm going to take the calls that want to talk to Gilbert, and and I'll come right back to you, okay? All right?
All right, hold up, look. Hey, look. Hold up. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let me talk to Joe. Explain to Joe. Hey, Joe.
There's
hey,
no Joe there. What are you talking about?
Oh, you know your guest.
Yeah, it's Gilbert. Gilbert.
Oh, Gilbert. All right, my bad. Yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Hey, Gilbert.
Yeah,
my bad, Gilbert.
His name his mama gave him.
All right. Yeah, hey, Gilbert. Hey, the reason, now when somebody take a loan, let's say like in the county, right? Now, in that county, that loan, the lender supposed to file everything with the county, right? Like the amount and everything in the county, right? And also, is that lender supposed to be registered with the state, right?
Supposed to be, but none of that really matters. You're not going to break the system. I know all that county, city, state, federal, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're not going to break the system. None of that's going to break this. You're not going to break that system.
Well, the reason why I say that, because if I was to take a loan, say like financial loan on a house, right, for $40,000 or $50,000, something like that. Now, the first thing I tell anybody, always put a mechanical lien on everything you do for that house. You put a mechanical lien on everything.
Okay,
Even
let me stop you. Hold on, let me stop you right there. Okay? This is my question before I make my comment. How successful have you been with that technique?
Oh, I never, I never had a house, but I always had a lot of stuff. I put my lien on it.
Hold the phone. Wait a minute. Hold the phone. How are you giving people advice to do something and you ain't never did it or even owned on to even do it? That's not good advice, my brother. That's not good to tell people to do something you have no experience or even own a home.
No home, but that's no home, but
you don't even know if that's gonna work. I've heard that mechanic clean thing before. Guess what? People on the street steal. It doesn't work. I pretty much heard just about every scheme out there, and I watch people go to jail. I watch people lose their house. For the large majority of them, a lot of people lost their house, and some of them lost their house by gunpoint because they stayed in the house until the sheriff came, and the sheriff come with his gun drawn, get out, and put all their stuff on the street. So, hey, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to you, all right? All right.
All right.
Gilbert. What's your comment on that right there? What's your comment? How do you know?
Well, look, what if it doesn't work? They always say all this stuff, nothing ever works. So what if you put a mechanic lien? They'll just remove it before the foreclosure, and then if it goes to foreclosure, it's off anyway. And again,
right.
He's telling them to do, and yet he don't even own a home, and it's never worked. So what is that?
But that's typical? That's typical. That's the typical. People are giving advice on what to do and how to keep houses, get them out of foreclosure. And none of them even own a home or ever, had no home ownership at all. He's not the only one doing that. And people are paying people like that to help them keep their house.
And
I've watched cases where people are getting advice from people and they are 100% fail. Over and over. Going to court, getting their behind handed to them. But they keep going to these same people for advice.
Yep. Doesn't work.
Listen, I'll say this and I'll repeat it again. If I want to be a millionaire, guess who I go sit with? A millionaire. That's why I don't go to somebody who not a millionaire to become a millionaire. But unfortunately, with the unfortunate thing about this, a lot of people give you advice on how to be things that they never been. It's crazy. We have to start really looking at and thinking before we start. Let's go to this next caller, 203-491.
I got to be in that class, even though I was listening.
203-491.
Anything you learn now, you're passing on to somebody, man.
Yo. Yeah, they're having their own little meeting. So we're gonna move on. It was only a couple of hands up. And I guess everybody else got the point. Give out your information, Gilbert, because not only do you do the mortgages, you do a lot. You do mortgages, bankruptcies, and you do the credit. I learn something new every time we get on the phone.
Stop wage garnishment, but they can call me anytime.
That's a big one. People really need help with that one. Yeah, somebody just put their hand up. Hold on. 612-458.
Peace, bless up. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
We're doing great. How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. What you got a comment, question?
Let's see here. I had heard something about, and this might go back to even 2009-ish or something, but something about, back when they were doing all the robo-signing and then getting caught up for passing on the mortgage notes to, random people, entities and whatnot. And some people were winning, mortgagee is the person who lives in the house. Is that right? The mortgagee?
Right.
Mortgagees were some mortgagees were winning, and then what I heard was that basically the whole court system made I think it was at least very quietly made decision, if not completely behind the scenes decision, that they're just not going to allow any more of those to proceed, and they're just going to shut them all down, no matter what. And is you know anything about that? That's accurate?
No, because all the subprime loans have came back. They already offer subprime loans again, and it's based on bank statement programs. So that's not true. All that stuff in 2009, they just started coming out with hedge fund bank statement / subprime loans. They're fixed rates, though. They're not, adjustable. They can be adjustable for 7 years, and they go to a fixed rate. But they came back again. When COVID,
I'm talking about people that were getting foreclosed on were like suing the creditors and winning based on robo signing and things related to CDOs.
Who won? Who won millions of dollars? Nobody won.
Well, I'm not saying some people won their. I think some people won their houses. I'm not gonna say it was a lot of people, but my point is though that what I heard it wasn't.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a rumor. That's why you say you heard, because you don't have solid proof to say substantiate that. See, let me tell you about what happens in this game. People will get a notice from the bank, and it seems to appear like they won their house, right? And they'll get on these shows and say, "Yeah, I won my house. Look." But they never tell you that a year later that bank came right back on them and took the house. You see what I'm saying? So what you heard is people raising, the wind flag before the whole thing was complete. And that's what a lot of people were doing. Like some years ago, it was on YouTube, this guy named Harvey Dent. Now, Harvey Dent is a Batman character, but Harvey Dent is also an old movie from a character in a movie from like the 30s, that's when they were still making black and white movies. Actually, William Shatner was in the movie, and his name was Harvey Dent. I actually ran across this movie. So this guy was posing as a guy named Harvey Dent. He was telling people, use the back of the social to get rid of your student loans and do it, and people were following it. I know a few people personally that followed it, right? So they did the little thing he said. The student loans seemed like they went away. And I told the person, I said, yeah, in about 2 weeks that's going to come back, right? And they said, well, how you know? They were arguing me down. I tried that same old crap, okay? All right? The stuff I'm saying that don't work is probably because I tried it, too. And so they went on YouTube and said, oh, I got this, I did this, and showed all of these zero balances, but they never came back and showed how the thing came back on. See, that's how people do. And then you're watching the beginning, but not the end of the process. But go ahead, what you about to say?
So some of these people that was saying they, basically sued the creditor and won their house or whatever, basically, if they then lost their house a year later, you think it would have been more like off basically an appeal? It got appealed and overturned, or a whole new mortgage process was foreclosure was initiated.
I could tell you how one case went. They won a judgment for money damages, but they didn't win their house. Like, say the you could help me on this one, Gilbert. Said the mortgage company done something wrong outside of the law, yeah, they get money damages, but the bank is not giving them the house. No, you got to pay them this.
So the money damages were less than were the money damages less than the damage owed on the house?
Of course. Listen, it's national security. It's in the interest of national security if they let people win houses, because those houses are tied up in stocks and mortgage-backed securities. And they're bundled together. So if one house is defaulting and they just give that messes that whole bundle up.
Did the judgment stick, or did they get their judgment reversed?
Handle it.
All right.
You're asking a bunch of questions like hypotheticals that nobody can really.
All right. I got a question about caveats. If that could be spoke to on I think it's called land contracts.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's called land contracts in Michigan. The contract for deed. Huh?
Save that for another show. Save that for another show.
Okay, I have a question about mortgages.
Yeah, he's asking wild questions. This ain't the Wild Wild West, man. All right, Gilbert. Anything else you want to say? Let people know how to meet you, how to do business with you.
Yeah, they can call me. I'm in California, and it's 540, but you can call me anytime on my cell, 909-772-1948. Everybody that calls me, I've helped. I mean, the ones that listen, and I tell them. And it's not, I do, as much as more than attorneys, but, they overcharge. I mean, we've had people pay, up to $50,000 to do this crap and nothing worked. I know how to do this crap.
Oh, I've seen some big money go out for these things. I mean, I've seen as much as 100.
Yeah, and none of it works.
Yeah,
100,000. None of it works.
And you know what confuses me about that, Gilbert? Or if I could pay somebody $50,000 or $100,000, why don't I just put that on the house?
Right.
Get some payment, do something.
It just don't listen. I mean, it's all those liens and stuff. It's like, and again, it comes. Everybody says they hurt somebody, but nothing ever.
Right. That's
nothing.
Yeah, you're
nothing
right.
ever.
That's all we heard tonight was innuendos and hearsay remarks.
Yeah, it doesn't work, and none of it works. That's what I'm saying. So everybody's saying this, and this, but it doesn't work. I mean, the ones that listened, I've helped every one of them, and I've had a few come back again, but they listen, and I tell them. You know, even I get referrals where I helped this one lady drop her payment $600 and told her get the insurance. That would have dropped her payment more than 60%. And she couldn't do that. And I told her what to do. I went over and beyond to stay on the phone with her because she was paying $550 a month for homeowners insurance. And I go, why? And you know, I mean, it was a referral, and you know who he is, and you know, we were talking about it, and he goes, they want stuff for free, and they want everybody to do stuff, you know. And I told her about the equity in the property. She didn't know what equity was. You know, even one of yours that you referred over didn't know the difference between the investor and the servicer. I go, you're going to court for all this, but you don't know the basics? Come on. You know, so I mean, I always go back. I know the time difference. I'm helping a doctor in Illinois with a loan, going directly through a private party to do it on an investment property. And she even said, I would never get this done without you. I go, I'm not getting paid through the broker. We're going directly. It's a small loan, but I'm helping her with everything to get it done because that's the key. You know, next year we refinance and get a bigger loan, but the key is to help somebody. It's not all about the money, but I'm way cheaper, and, you know, people know. But again, it's, you know, all the stuff with the forbearances and even loans, you know, that's a hassle right now too. But I know what to expect, and I'm directly with the sources. So, but they can call me anytime, 909-772-1948. I'll pick up, you know, and I'll tell them. They may not like what I have.
He always does.
Call them back.
Gilbert is a lot more lenient with people calling than I am. He will pick up and talk to you briefly. I've been trying to get him to harden up on that because people will call you and waste your time. So
yeah.
All right, thanks, Gilbert. Once again, always a pleasure.
And all right. Well, I'm sure
I'm going to give you a call tomorrow afternoon. Okay.
All right. And I'll keep in touch and let you know whenever they do offer those forbearance, the true forbearance. But whenever it is, we'll get on the show again. But until then, I'll keep you posted. They haven't offered it yet. The back end anyway. So no problem. Okay.
All right, Gilbert. Have a good night. All right. That's Gilbert once again, always giving out the best advice possible. But unfortunately, people are hard-headed and they want to do their thing. And like I said, if you want to try all of those wild processes, go ahead. Try at it. But please don't call me up, email me, or Hakeem, what you think about this? Do not do it. Because now people are sending me so many emails, I just ignore it when those types of questions. Because I'm tired of telling y'all, stop playing roulette with your house. You need somewhere to live. You need somewhere for your children to be at. Who wants to be in an environment with their children and you're constantly going back and forth to court trying to fight for a house? You're supposed to be responsible, keeping your children safe, and not just safe from harm, physical harm, safe from financial harm, safe from being on the street. I think that's totally irresponsible of people that will take a chance like that off the wall, off the cuff process. You already heard there's a couple people coming on here talking about that stuff, and this stuff y'all telling is nothing new. People been trying it for years, and they always say, "I heard," or "I read," or this, that, and the other. No one comes and showed me proof. I did a video about this chart. People send me, I just started. They send me stuff, and the stuff ain't even what they say it is. You see? So we gotta stop being real with ourselves. Stop running after the pie in the sky, and stop trying to get something for nothing. Because that's what you're doing. You signed the contract to pay for the house. Oh yeah, the argument is, well, they supposed to have a note. They ain't doing this, and so it's not a good contract. So only reason why you buying into that because you don't want to pay. You're trying not to pay, so you can have a house free and clear. It's based and founded in a form of greed. And if you are anybody who is familiar with the Bible held debtors accountable to the contracts they signed. And it's up to the debtee, or the person, what in the Bible they call them masters, to forgive that debt. And they were supposed to do it after 7 years. Now, they're going against the Bible when they have debts over 7 years. But people honored the contract. And then the master forgave the debt to people who were debtors. But then this is how most people are acting. Like the slave, the evil slave that got his debt forgiven, but someone owed him money. He went and was pounding on the door, give me my money. That's how a lot of people are doing. They're in the courts trying to get their debt forgiven and trying to get the house for free, but they're out there. They might have these things as rental properties, but they want to get paid. Well, I guess the argument is, well, my contract is not based in fraud, but you still signed a contract to pay for that home. Now, I'll teach y'all how this universe works, how God works, how wherever way you want to talk, what you put out is what you get back. You don't want to pay for something, guess what? It's going to be taken from you. You know, you can't be always got your hand open and don't want to give. You know, and I've watched it over and over. Since I've started this station, I have watched people suffer by their own hands trying to win these houses for nothing. And 100% that went down that road and stayed down that road, they are on the street. 100%. I know no one. The only people that stayed in their house is they got with Gilbert and they kept their house. You know, slowly but surely, they're going to get that house. They're going to get it. I don't know if I got this call. Let me see. 786-597. Did I get you?
Nah, Hakeem. Hello, Hakeem. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Hey, this is a quick question about the notice of appearance. For those of us that's doing the current name change process, is that something we have to worry about before we get our hearing for the name change petition?
I put that in mind. You can do that. No, you really don't need a notice of appearance because you're ex parte. The ex parte hearing, there's nobody, against you. So you don't.
Oh yeah.
What I say is try to fly under the radar with that as much as you can, just so you can get your name change done. If you start throwing in too much in the mix, they're going to start trying to clamp down and put a monkey wrench against you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I did some changes to the. I got the packet, but I had to make some changes using Adobe because it had too many redundancies. So I had to skim it down a bit, but still after the.
What are you talking about specifically? What document are you talking about?
Like when you do the name change, they have a packet, like a name change packet for my state in Florida. So it's like $50.
Oh, you talking about with Florida's name change packet? They got a lot. I've seen that package. It's a lot to adjust.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a beast, man. Yeah. So I had to go through that, like each document one by one and make the adjustments.
It's a nice little thick packet too. That's the biggest one I've seen out of all the states.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so big, man. It's like they want all this information. So. It's crazy. Yeah, but I did.
Time to really dissect it. I saw it. I said, "Oh man, this right here is some work." Anybody that want me to adjust that one is gonna have to pay me. Yeah,
it's not that bad. Most of the information I got, I pretty much got the hang of it. What they're asking for. But another thing is, I'm probably gonna need a survey as far as doing a a constitutional to not pay the $400 filing fee because I don't have that right now.
You could you can put a motion for that because I think that filing fee over there is hefty.
Yeah, it's $400.
$400. That's a lot for a name change. Yeah, I would do the motion to waive that. It's called the motion for leave to waive the filing fee.
Okay.
Due to it's against the Constitution. The Constitution says you're supposed to have access to the courts.
Yep.
So,
Article 2, Section 21. I think Article 9, Section 21 for Florida Constitution. Yeah, I was reading it all night. Okay. Okay, that's it for now. I had some other questions, but I just can't remember off my head. Probably in another meeting.
Okay, man. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let me get this guy I said I would go back to. 504-669.
I'm glad you got me back on, man. But the reason I was telling Gilbert, in the county.
That's not his name. Is not. You said Joe.
Yeah, but I messed up when I say that, you know.
His name is not Joe. Gilbert.
Gilbert, right? Yeah, but my bad, man. I'm kind of like
man.
you got stuck
hold the road, okay?
All right. Now, the reason I was saying the county, if I'm correct, the law still stands no matter what. If I was to sign a house agreement, right, like get a house, a used house, a new house, whatever, in Dick County. Now, if I sign a mortgage agreement and everything, now it's supposed to be a security agreement and a deposit agreement, escrow agreement, right? All that's supposed to be filed at the county clerk office by the bank. It's supposed to be filed by the bank at the county clerk office.
Okay. What's your point?
Nowhere. If they take the house, then they must give you a copy of the escrow, deposit, and service agreement.
Okay.
When you
let me tell you something else. So I'm gonna cut this conversation short. There's a lot of things they're supposed to do. Like for every that you incur or you sign a contract to, they're supposed to be filing it on the UCC, but none of them do it. But the courts are allowing them to come into court and win against you.
Well, now hold up.
So
now
there's a lot of things that listen. We're not going to debate this. You keep coming at me with theories that haven't worked since I've been doing this. So unless you got some facts that you can point to that what you're saying works, there's no need for us to even have this discussion. No disrespect. We're wasting time. My thing is, this is how I live. I want to talk about things that's going to give me progress. How much, we're going to make some money together. We're going to do something good together. That conversation is really a dead conversation. Oh, they're supposed to do this. They're supposed to do that. The cops are supposed to have a warrant before they put you on for a traffic ticket.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Right.
So there's a lot of things in the world people are supposed to do that they're not doing. Now, I can go to court and win against that cop with the Constitution, but I've already told y'all the reason why you're never going to win your house because it's against national security. It will collapse the whole system if they allow people to win on those legal theories. I'm not saying those theories are incorrect. What I'm saying, the court has already been commissioned not to give you your house under those conditions. They are under order not to give you that house by those processes. That's what you're dealing with.
Okay, then. All right.
So unless you got an army going in and taking, you might be able to win, but you're not going to win because they are under orders, executive orders, not to let nobody win a house.
All right. Well, that part I did not know because, what I was going to try to say that the best solution is you go to federal court, file a real property, and you get a jury. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was going to try to make a suggestion. If you go to the federal court, But it won't work, right?
You're saying a theory I know all too well.
All right.
Best advice and the best thing that you do, pay that mortgage. Pay it.
Right.
Pay that bill.
Yeah, but right. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, look.
I gotta move on.
Okay, then.
No, we gotta
All
move
right.
on. All right, y'all. It's 8:56. Yeah, I did a 2-hour show. I hadn't done a 2-hour show in a while. Maybe next week I'll do 3. I have a feeling it might be a 3-hour show next week. Based on what I'm sitting on over here. Only reason why we didn't do a 3-hour show this week because my internet's been out all day. It went out early this morning, just came back this afternoon. So I got thanks for tuning in, all the callers who had questions or comments. No offense to y'all, but do some more studying. And peace, blessings, peace, prosperity, and good health to all. Until next time, okay, Thursday, before I shut it down, Thursday is Jessica and Tasia, the Divine Connection show. They had a very good show last week, and they probably going to have another good show this week. Listen up every Thursday. Tune in. All right, I'm out. Peace.